Barcelona have just defeated Osasuna 2-0 at the Camp Nou, making it 5 wins and 5 for Hansi Flick's side. Now, on the surface, everything looked perfect. Clean sheet, another victory, and the momentum is starting to build. But this was a far more complicated performance than the scoreline suggests, because despite the win, the game exposed a new and potentially worrying issue for Hansi Flick, one that many of us didn't see coming. For months now, fans have pointed to injuries as the main reason behind Barcelona's struggles in big games. The belief was simple: get our best players back and everything will fall into place. But now that those players are returning, something unexpected is happening. Instead of clarity, Barcelona are facing confusion, and what was supposed to restore balance is now presenting a need for difficult compromises. Our problem is no longer injuries, it's team selection. In this video, we are going to break down what the game against Osasuna revealed and how Hansi Flick can turn this selection dilemma into a strength rather than a setback. Now, to explain this, it's important to point out that just like we saw in the game against Frankfurt, Osasuna started with an obvious game plan: sit back, defend, and hit Barcelona on the counter. Now, I would have thought that Hansi Flick would have planned for this, so it came as a surprise when I saw this team selection opting to go with Raphinha ahead of Fermin López in the number 10 position. But against the low block, what you need is a player that enjoys the tight spaces. Someone like Fermin, Dani Olmo, or even Lamine Yamal. Raphinha is least effective when the game is too compact and his back is turned to goal. He prefers a more expansive system where he can run into the spaces behind the defense. This caused the major hindrance in our attack as we struggled to find a way through the middle. This meant that most of our attacking threat had to come from the flanks. So let's talk about Lamine. Now, we all know that this guy is carrying a chronic injury. Sports hernia is one of those tricky injuries that allows you to play but doesn't exactly allow you to play at your best. We've seen this in recent games. Lamine Yamal hasn't been as explosive as he was last season. And so when you lack a bit of explosiveness, the last place that you want to be playing is out on the wings, especially when teams have 2 or 3 players on you all game long. I honestly think it's high time that we thought about playing Lamine Yamal in the middle as opposed to out on the wing. Now, I understand the confusion that this could cause, because if you play Lamine in the middle with Rooney on the right, where would you play Fermin or Dani Olmo? They've both been effective this season when they've been fit, so how do you drop them and risk ruining their good form and confidence just to accommodate Lamine Yamal? I personally do not think it's worth it. So here's a more feasible solution. We need to rotate more across the front line. When Lamine Yamal is getting outnumbered on the wing, he needs to switch with whoever is playing in the 10, while having the fullback push forward to add width and dynamism to the attack. We saw this work brilliantly against Real Betis with Lamine Yamal, Rooney Bargi and Koundé combining to great effect. In this game, you could see Raphinha, Lamine Yamal and Koundé trying to replicate the same, but it just wasn't as fluid. We need to work on this a lot more to develop the right chemistry and fluidity on the right side of attack. Now, one final issue we had in the first half: when you play against the low block, you need to find a way to be more direct. For some reason, we had just Ferran Torres in the box most of the time against 3 or more defenders. That made it extremely difficult for him to get on the end of any crosses, and one time he managed to get a header in, we thought we'd gone ahead, only to have the goal disallowed due to an earlier offside decision. Something needed to change, and in the second half, Hansi Flick found the answer. Now guys, remember, in the first half, Barcelona couldn't penetrate the low block, so we were forced into a couple of long-range efforts that went awfully wide every single time. If Osasuna wouldn't let us into the box, we were going to shoot from outside. Well, that was not a bad idea, except for one little tweak. Hansi Flick figured out that it wasn't a tactic that needed to change, it was the personnel. If you want to go with shots from outside, then you need to get the ball to the players who have the capability to shoot from outside the box. This eventually proved effective, as in the 69th minute, Raphinha put Barcelona in front with a brilliant strike from outside the box.
Raphinha, oh, brilliant!
Look where the play started: Kubasi's interception that finds its way to Eric Garcia. Now, because Osasuna lost the ball in transition, they were trying to get back to stop the counter. This is where Pedri is absolutely brilliant, because he sees the defensive lines are not compact enough to block the spaces, so he decides to drive the ball forward. Now look when he eventually releases the ball to Raphinha, there's not too many options for him. Ferran Torres is outnumbered, Lamine Yamal is too far behind, so if he goes out to him, Osasuna would have time to get more bodies in the box. So he decides to go for a shot, and this time it's not Kubasi, it's not Balde, it's the man you want on the ball if the opportunity presented. It was a brilliant strike into the bottom corner, goalkeeper doesn't get down in time, Barcelona go 1-0 up. But guys, it didn't end there. Osasuna all of a sudden went into a back four in order to get some bodies in the front. But as we've seen before, it was the hunt for the equaliser that cost them for the second time in the game. Osasuna tried to put the press to win the ball back, but it was some brilliant play from Ferran Torres to switch the play over to Koundé on the right. Now Osasuna are vulnerable to the counter. And this is what we want to see from Koundé and Lamine. It was another brilliant run into the box from Koundé, like we saw against Frankfurt. This time he was the provider, he puts the cross in, it's a wicked deflection that falls kindly to who? Raphinha. Rashford had been taken off for Frankie de Jong, which meant that Raphinha was back on the left. And what did we say about this man attacking the spaces in behind? He just knows how to smell the danger and anticipate where the ball is going to drop. That's exactly what happens on this occasion. Right place, right time, easy tap in, Barcelona go 2-0 up. Guys, from this moment, it was pretty much a game of control. Hansi Flick made a few important substitutions that helped us maintain control and energy for the closing minutes of the game. Now, a few honourable mentions for me in this game, and it was these 3 players. Now, obviously, we know Raphinha scored the goals, which we've already discussed, but guys, it was the control and the creativity from Pedri in midfield that absolutely allowed us to win this match. It was his assist for Raphinha's goal in the 69th minute that gave us the lead, and he barely put a foot wrong all game long. I mean, look at this for calmness and control. Guys, it's safe to say Pedri is back to his brilliant best. I wish we could meet Chelsea right now. Okay, now Gerard Martin. I think this guy, alongside Eric Garcia, has been our most improved player this season. He's grown from being Balde's substitute at left back to becoming the prime candidate for the left centre back position. With 16 ball recoveries on the night, I think Gerard Martin may have played his best game in a Barcelona shirt. Now, I don't know if this is a temporary solution until we get a proper centre back, but if he continues to play like this, Deco might have a tough decision to make in the next transfer window. Okay guys, so what does this mean for us? Well, considering all we've seen so far, I think that this should be our starting lineup going forward. But we need it to stay as flexible as possible out on the right, and maybe on the left as well. Anyways, credit to Hansi Flick and the team for responding well in the second half. But guys, remember, it's not just about what I think. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think our starting 11 should be? And what do you think of this performance in this game? I told you that I've got some exciting videos coming your way this Christmas, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you get notified when those drop. Until next time guys, see you soon and Visca El Barça.